Welcome to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast, a space where we break free from tradition, creating a wedding day totally authentic to you and your love story. I'm Abby, UK wedding planner and owner of Elegance Unlimited, here to help you plan a wedding day that feels uniquely yours. Join me for planning tips and advice, endless inspiration, and a pocket full of calm within the chaos that is wedding planning. Consider me a trusted friend, here to walk you through it all. From injecting fun splashes of personality into your day, to reinventing tradition completely, all whilst focused on building a day bespoke to your dreams and desires. I cannot wait to get started, so let's get planning. Hello, welcome back to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. My name is Abby. I am a wedding planner, planning weddings all over the UK, and now here to help you plan yours via the podcast platform. I'm very excited to be here. Hope you are excited to be listening and getting some wedding tips and inspiration. This is episode 5. Okay, we've passed the month mark. We've got a full hand's worth of podcasts under our belt now, and it's very exciting. Would love some feedback on if you're enjoying it and if it's beneficial for you. So make sure to let me know. But yeah, otherwise we're gonna talk about some good, exciting wedding stuff today. And this is an episode I'm really excited about actually. Last week we talked about wedding fairs. So if you are at that stage in your planning journey, if you're about to go to some or you're not sure whether you should be going to some, what the kind of point of them is, if they're helpful, then last week's episode is going to be a really good one for you. So I recommend going and checking that one out. Otherwise, today we are talking about reinventing tradition and how to put your own stamp on your big special day. So this is what I specialize in, okay? I love this part of wedding planning because I was going to say I don't like planning them. I just don't plan them. I don't plan weddings that are just template weddings, cookie cutter, kind of one package deal to the next. We don't do that, okay? Every single wedding should be as unique as you as an individual and as you as a couple. It should feel like like home, like we've walked into your home and we're like, yeah, it makes total sense that this is their wedding day. That's how it should be. So today we are going to talk a little bit about reinventing tradition, breaking some of those rules, bending some of those traditions sideways, backwards, all over the place, and how to make your day feel like really, really, really good to you, really personal, really bespoke. And I'm excited about it. So let's get cracking. So, we live in a world full of trends and popularity contests. There is truly no avoiding it in the world that we live in right now, and it can be tough. So, that's a really, really big point that I want to make. And the same concept applies to the wedding industry. Okay. Every year, there are trends that we see sweep through the whole wedding industry, and many of the weddings we do as suppliers, there are trends that go around and we'll see, oh yeah, all the weddings are having this at the moment, all the weddings are having that. So remember the bow theme was like a big kind of trend that was going on. We had like the oversized bow trend, and then we had like the miniature bow trend on everything, and that's still kind of sticking around a little bit. Wedding capes was another one. What else have we had? You'll get something come out from like a really popular show, so like Bridgerton, and then all the weddings are like Bridgerton themed, and everyone was doing like Bridgerton themed styled shoots. You'll get a trend go around from like a viral video on TikTok or Instagram, and it'll be like, when we had the alternative flower girls, so you were getting like beer boys and like flower men instead, and like it became this really big huge thing. Signature cocktails was another one, and like champagne walls was another one as well. These are all trends that like come in and like sweep through, and everyone goes, that's amazing, I've never seen that before, I want to do that at my wedding, because it's a trend. Okay, so, and this is not to say they're not amazing ideas for some couples, but my first point here, and the first thing that we're going to kind of start talking about in this episode, is your wedding is not a trend. And I like to give a little bit of tough love here, because I'm all for doing things that are different and unique, but it has to feel right for you, and your wedding is not a trend. It's not something that you have to just copy because that what they're doing because everyone else is doing it. And do you know what I do? I feel for engaged couples and people planning their weddings at the moment because it's hard to see through the trends and to see what's popular sometimes and what's like right for you as a couple. But I think we can take the trends and the things that kind of coming through and we can take elements of those if they feel right into our own wedding day. So, and don't get me wrong, I love a wedding trend. You will often see me sharing different wedding things that I see on various platforms and being like, oh my God, I love this. Oh my God, someone please book me so we can do this. Oh my God, somebody who's doing this, please hire me as your wedding planner, because they're fun and they're different. And of course, we're then attracted to them and we love those things because we think, well, no one else has done that. So I should do that at my wedding. That's amazing. But what I don't want anyone to do is to look back in 5, 10, even 30, 40 years and think, oh my God, why did we do a champagne wall? We don't even drink champagne. Why didn't we do like the classic beer buckets instead? Because that was really much more us. And everybody drinks beer. Nobody even touched the champagne. We should have just stuck to what we were going to do, and it would have felt so much more right for us. So there's a fine line between following the trends and following what's working really, really well, and picking things that feel right for your wedding day and that feel like they suit you as a couple. And I think that's what, kind of the main concept and the main kind of point here is to choose things that feel right for you and think about what you guys are like as a couple. What do you like? What do you not like? Would it even make sense for you to have a champagne wall or a Bridgerton theme for your wedding? Do you even like Bridgerton? Or are you actually more of like a bit of an alternative, like bit of an edgy vibe to you? Is that even going to make sense? Do you really want the Bridgerton theme? I think it's really easy for us to see things and think, oh my gosh, my wedding has to be like that. But it doesn't. And I do a lot of work trying to get couples that I work with and sharing my content to try and tell people that that's not how it has to be. And your wedding day can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to follow those trends, you follow them. But it also should be a reflection of who you guys are as a couple and individuals as well. So if you've never seen Bridgerton in your life, maybe don't get a Bridgerton themed wedding. Just a thought. So when it comes to traditions, okay, and the whole, in theory, the whole concept of a wedding is very traditional. So when I say wedding traditions, I mean anything that when you think of a wedding, you think, oh yeah, we'll do that. So you want to think about which traditions you want to keep, which ones you want to adjust to make your own, and which ones you just want to get rid of completely. Okay. So, like I said, when you think of a typical wedding day, what parts of that day do you want to keep? And this could be anything from uh the getting ready in the morning, the wedding dresses, the bridesmaids or the wedding party, bouquets, drinks reception, sit down meal, cutting the cake, first dance, being walked down the aisle by your dad, having reading your vows to each other, exchanging of rings, anything you can think of that you think, yeah, wedding day, that's what you do on a wedding day. There's a tradition behind it in some sense because you traditionally would expect to see it at a wedding. So this is where it's important to look through and think, okay, what do we like? And we'll just keep as it is because we know we both want to have a sit down meal. Wouldn't even question adjusting that. It doesn't feel like we need to change that at all. Formal photos. Yeah, definitely want formal photos. That's not even a question to us. Fine. Speeches. Yeah, need those. We'll do that. Fine. And then kind of moving down, narrowing things down again. What things do we like, but we want to make a little bit more us? We want to adjust a little bit and make feel more personal. So, and this is where it could be anything. Like this episode is going to be a lot of me being like, well, you could do this and you could do this and you could do this. But it's more just to kind of get those ideas flowing for you and to help you realize what's possible for your wedding day. The answer being that anything is possible. It's your wedding day. You can do what you want. But think about things that you think, oh, well, I like that, but I don't want to do it that way. I don't want to do it exactly like that. So walking down the aisle, does it not really feel right for you to like be walked down the aisle by your father or on your own, or does that not feel right? Like maybe you do something different. So you could choose to walk down the aisle together instead. Or I had a couple that I worked with and they chose to walk from opposite ends of the venue space into the middle to meet each other in the middle of the aisle. So it wasn't just like one person walking down to the other. They both walked down and met each other in the middle. It was beautiful. Lovely idea. But like, does that work for you? Are you do you want to do things that way? A lot of people choose not to do a typical first dance. They want to switch things up. They want to have everybody on the dance floor with them, or, they go the opposite end of the spectrum and they want to do a totally kind of synchronized, formal, planned out, choreographed dance. Fine. But choose what elements of it feel for you and how you can make it feel your own. It's all about adding your own little stamp on things. And what you really want is not only for you, but for your guests on the day to think, yeah, that's perfect for them. Wouldn't have expected it any other way from them. Another really good one to kind of switch things up and be reinventing tradition, so to speak, is the wedding dress. So if you are someone that wants to wear a wedding dress on the day, typically it's white or kind of ivory, off-white kind of colors, but could you go for like something completely opposite, colorful, even like a black dress or something like bright pink, purples? What feels right for you? Does it not make sense for you to wear a white dress? Do you not like that part of the tradition? Wear what you want. Again, the wedding I was talking about where they walked towards each other, they went super non-traditional. Super non-traditional. Actually, I'll talk about it briefly for a minute, because it was just such a beautiful wedding. Such an amazing one. They went really non-traditional. They didn't want the classic kind of wedding marriage type thing. So they called it a love ceremony instead of like a classic marriage ceremony where you kind of did your vows and officiant and stuff. They still had someone, reading and kind of acting as their officiant, their celebrant type thing, but it was a family member, and they did do vows as such, but it was more kind of like promises to each other. But yeah, they walked up the opposite ends of the space to meet each other in the middle in the aisle. And they saged the space when they got there to cleanse it, and it was all really beautiful. They had some readings from people that were kind of close to them and that felt really right for them. And they actually didn't wear any of the kind of traditional colours at all. So it was a summer wedding. It was a beautiful summer's day. It was actually at the Botanical Gardens in Abbotsbury. So stunning venue anyway. But he was wearing this like bright orange, like linen suit, but like a casual one, it's like casual, but it was stunning. And she wore this like really gorgeous, like lime green, kind of neon-y, but not neon really, like just really bright, vibrant green kind of slip dress, not a typical kind of traditional wedding dress at all. It was stunning. It was perfection. I know there are at the moment, depending when you listen to this, there are currently some photos of that on my website. So if you are feeling really, really nosy, and I wouldn't blame you, stunning. Like this green and the orange were just like popping together. It was real citrusy. It was like she was holding sunflowers for her bouquet. Like they didn't really have like flowers as such. They didn't have, when you think of a wedding, everybody's got their flowers, and you've got the boutonnieres, and then you've got table flowers and floor flowers and decorative flowers and all these flowers. They didn't really have any, looking back. They had a few sunflowers on some of the tables, and she held like a little bouquet that they'd put together of sunflowers and a couple of other things, but that was it. They didn't, and do you know what? It wasn't missing anything. So if you're thinking like, we're not really flower people, but we feel like because it's a wedding, we have to have flowers. No, you don't, because I've seen it done without hardly any, and it was beautiful, like truly stunning. And a wedding day is what you make it. It's your day. So if it feels right for you, then do it that way. And this wedding that I've just kind of briefly talked about, they did super non-traditional. They had speeches, like I said, some during the ceremony, but they had speeches all throughout the day. They didn't want to do just like, the 3 speeches before the meal. They kind of scattered them throughout the day. They were like, so-and-so is going to say something at this point, and if you could just let us know, so-and-so is, Auntie Sue's going to say something at this point of the day, and then in the evening, like, we're going to do a speech together, and that's how we want to do it. And then they got changed in the evening into some really, really cool, like, again, super vibrant, super fun, super kind of retro artsy outfits. I think they were both creative, so totally made sense. But it was just one of like the most fun weddings I've been a part of. So it can be done, and you should do it that way if that's what suits you. I personally am a really huge fan of the kind of non-traditional wedding dress trend that has been around like for ages now, but it keeps just getting like bigger and brighter and bolder and like crazier. And I just love it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love like a crisp white wedding dress. Okay. There's nothing better. They are stunning. They're beautiful. I actually don't know what I would go for. I've always thought I'd go traditional, but then I see some amazing like pink wedding dresses, or like the big fluffy kind of like short, or like the mini dresses. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how would I ever choose? It's such a tough decision. And I actually don't know, having not gotten married yet and had to kind of go through that process of choosing and deciding. Truly don't know if I'd go for a white wedding dress or something different, because I love a crisp white wedding dress. Okay, nothing beats it. I do, as traditional as they are and whatever they used to kind of stand for historically, I do think they're beautiful. And I don't usually trust myself in white usually, because I'm always dropping food down myself somewhere and I just can't be trusted. Okay, so it would be the one day that I would probably allow myself to wear white. But I see some of these dresses, like that green one that this incredible woman chose to wear, or like the little mini dresses or something colorful and fun, or even like a pale color like a blue or a pink or a purple. Like, oh, they just, some of the dresses, incredible. If you're a dress person, if you're going for a dress for your wedding, it's tough out there. There's so many choices. But yeah, don't feel like you have to go for the classics if it doesn't feel right for you. On that same train, we're talking about the things we want to keep. We're talking about things we want to change a bit. It's okay to completely get rid of other things too. Okay. If you don't want any formal photos, fine. Don't do them. Get rid completely. You only want completely candid natural shots. Fine. Don't bother wasting your time and wasting part of your day getting formal shots. Just let your photographer know. But it's up to you. I think, there's an argument that it's always nice to have, the proper pictures, proper in a sense, like the formal pictures of your family to always kind of have, a picture with someone on your wedding day. But at the same time, you're going to get so many pictures taken on your wedding day that I'm sure you're going to have some taken with every single person regardless. So if you want to get rid of it, get rid of it. If you wanted to get rid of, the cake, if you're not really cake people and it doesn't feel right for you, you don't want to do a cake cutting, then don't do it. Don't bother. Like, you don't have to have one just because traditionally weddings have had them. You don't want to do a first dance. Lots of couples I work with don't choose to do that. Fine. You don't even have to do like bridesmaids and groomsmen if you don't want to. You don't want to have like a big wedding party like that. Like, obviously you might have people that you love and care about and that you want at your day, but you don't want the faff of bridesmaids and everything that comes with that. Then don't do it. Fine. Your day, your choice. I think, like anything, weddings are changing all the time. And I think this is a really nice one to sit down and kind of have like a muddle through as well. So, I've talked about the kind of pre-wedding planning date night activity where you can go through and kind of have those chats with your partner and see what you both want out of your day. But this is another one to kind of sit down and talk through as you're kind of starting to decide things like, what traditions do we want to keep? What's really important to us to have on our day? Are we going to go all, sit through speeches and all this stuff when actually we're just not fussed about it? We just want to get straight to the dancing. Doesn't matter to us. We just want to do a quick thank you for coming speech and everyone kind of gets cracking. We don't want to sit and listen to speeches. Not for us. Fine. Don't do that then. If you'd rather do, like, you could opt to not do speeches and not share anything like that, but instead you might decide, we don't want to do speeches, but we're going to do personalized letters to everyone instead. So we can hand them out. They can read them in private, because we're just not big talky people. Our family aren't big talky people. We don't want to do it kind of standing up in front of everyone. So we're just going to do this instead. We're going to hand out personalized letters. They can take them home. Done. Perfect. Because it's right for you and it's perfect for you and your situation. So this is something to keep in mind throughout the whole process when you're, looking at suppliers, you're looking at options, you're kind of sifting through ideas and inspiration. You'll get a gut feeling and you'll be able to say, is this right for us? Do we like that idea? Do we not? The same with like the first look, walking down the aisle. Do you want to have that first moment where you walk down the aisle and you see your partner, or do you want to do a first look? Does that feel right for you? Or some people do like they're holding hands on either side of the door, but they can't see each other. Like, does that feel right for you? You'll get a gut feeling and you'll know if it feels right for you. Compromise, again, is key because your gut feeling might be different from your partner's. They might have always dreamed of having that moment walking down the aisle when actually you'd prefer to see them beforehand. Find a compromise there. Talk about what might work. Could you do, the like holding hands over the door? So you've like been together, but you haven't seen each other and kind of taken that surprise element from the aisle side of things as well. Have a conversation, talk it through, be kind to each other, understand that your idea of a perfect wedding day might be different from theirs, and that's okay. But we're all about making things perfect for you guys as a couple. Now, like anything, weddings are changing all the time. Okay. They are not the same as they were 5 years ago, let alone 30, 40, 50 years ago when our parents and grandparents got married. Okay. So I'm going to say this now, and I want you to listen to me loud and clear. Okay. No, you do not need to listen to your Auntie Sue or your Granddad John telling you, You have to do this, you have to do that. This is tradition. This is what you do. This is how we do weddings. No, it's not. Okay. They've had their day. Now you have yours. And let that sink in. Okay. I get very angry about this. Okay. I know we love our families. Some of us, other people have got more complicated relationships. I understand that. But it annoys me so, so much when you get like parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and people just butting their noses in. You have to do this. You can't do that. You can't not wear a white wedding dress. You have to do this. You can't not do speeches. You can't not have a cake. You have to do this. You can't not have a cake. I'll buy you a cake. Like, no, Nan, I don't want a cake. That's why I'm choosing not to do it. I don't want you to buy me a cake. Thank you, though. You can buy me something else. I think it's tough, right? It's tough. And some people are just blessed with the perfect family dynamics and other people are not. Okay, it's not easy for everyone. It's tough. I get it. And if you are brave enough to stand up to the people in your life that are trying to tell you have to do this, you have to do that, then I commend you and I support you all the way. It's really tough, but the one thing I try to remind people all the time is, again, what I've just said. They've had their wedding day. Okay, you get to have yours. And if you go ahead and you do what other people want to do, and you make decisions based on what's going to make other people happy instead of what's going to make you as a couple happy, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Very dramatic, but it's true. And it won't even be something that you look back on in 30 years and think, oh, wish I'd done that. You will regret it the very next day after your wedding. You will regret it. Okay, you'll be riding on that high, you'll have got married, it's all exciting, and you'll think, oh, that cake ruined it a bit though, didn't it? Well, having to sit through those speeches ruined it a bit, didn't it? Or I really wish I'd gone for that dress in the end. Like, you'll get your first sneak peeks of pictures back and you'll think, oh, like, I look great, but like the dress just wasn't right. I wish we'd gone for, that bright pink one instead of the white because it just wasn't me. You will regret it the very next day. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to point out the truth. It's a horrible feeling. Like, anything to do with your wedding process has to be on your terms and it has to be what you guys want to do, because you will regret it and you'll get that feeling and think, oh, it was great, but I don't want any buts. Okay, I just want, it was great, it was amazing, incredible, best day of my life. I don't want any single, oh, we should have done this. None of that, please. Okay, we're making decisions based on what we want as a couple, what feels right for us, and what is going to make us the most amazing day. These are your guests. Okay, guests, not hosts. Even you aren't the host, you're the guests of honor. That's, besides the point. They are guests that you are paying for, most likely, to attend your wedding day, to watch you get married and have the best day of your lives. They don't get a say, okay? They don't get an input. Unless you are physically putting them through torture, they don't get an input or a say on that, okay? So just a reminder, weddings change all the time. The things that were normal and traditional 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago are completely different today. We wouldn't have even considered not wearing, you know, white wedding dresses however many years ago. Wouldn't have even considered doing anything other than the cake gets cut at this time and then it gets served at this time. Like, who says that cake has to be cut in the evening? Why not do it after your ceremony and then eat cake throughout your drinks reception? More people should do that, please. Do it instead of canapes. Save yourself some money. All these things you can do to adjust and change things and make things your own, like, little spin on it. That's what makes your day perfect. And those are the things you'll remember. People will say, oh, wow, that was such a good idea that they did the cake earlier, because then we got to see it and we got to eat it. And so much cake gets wasted when you leave it to the end of the day. And I think people should do it earlier. That's my input. I think they should do it way earlier in the day. But that is just my insight. All of this to say that you can get creative. Okay. Your wedding day can be anything you want to be. Just because it's a wedding day doesn't mean that it has to follow any kind of simple rules. Obviously, legal elements not included in that. There's certain things that even I don't have control over. If you're getting legally married, there are certain rules and kind of procedures and protocols that you have to follow. That's a different side of the story. But if you wanted a wedding day that's totally just like off the rails, a little bit chaotic and fun and high energy, then have the legal bit before. Do your legal bit, get it out of the way, the formalities, get yourself married, and then you literally have free reign to do whatever the hell you want on your wedding day. No rules, no implications, no one rushing you along. Obviously, it's respectful to keep to time, but you can do whatever you want. No one's saying, oh, well, your ceremony has to be at this time because the registrars are only there for half an hour and then they're off, and they won't wait. They will be off. So if you want things a bit more, no rules, no kind of restrictions, then you absolutely can do that. It's just finding the right place to do it and, putting those plans into place. Legal elements not included. Everything else is yours for the taking. I always try to remind people that, you're paying for the wedding, so you get to make those decisions. It's your wedding day. Obviously, this is where we get into a bit of a tricky conversation if you're not paying for the wedding. So if like your parents are paying or you're getting big sums of money, offered to you for the wedding from, family members and things like that, you can get into some like sticky situations there where people then expect things for that money. I've talked about it previously before, but if you are going to accept money for your wedding day, but it comes with conditions, like, mum and dad are going to pay for this, but we have to invite like 10 of their friends so that they can come and see us get married. Are you happy with that? You might be. Fine. In order to get the money, you just have to invite a few people. Fine. It might not bother you. Other people might think, actually, we just wanted a really intimate day with like our nearest and dearest. We don't really want mum and dad's mates that we don't know at the day. So we'd rather not have the money. I think that, and this doesn't happen every time you get given money from family members. You might get given a load of money from your parents and they go, crack on, do what you want with it. This is our gift to you. You make any decision you want. Some people, a little bit less fortunate, and you get like the real sticklers for traditions and rules, and I'm paying, so I get to choose which flowers you get, which cake you get, which meal we get, whatever. That's a bit trickier. But like I've said before, weigh up the pros and cons. Do you need to take that money? Is it worth it for you to take that money, knowing what you know about your parents? You know them better than I do, or any family member that's offering money. Is it worth taking for the compromises you might have to make on your wedding day? Just something to think about. Now, I could literally sit here and ramble on for days and days and days talking about, oh, I saw this at a wedding once. Oh, you should do this. It was really unique. Oh, you should do this. It's non-traditional. Ultimately, it's your choice, and only you will know what parts you want to keep and what parts you want to change. We can absolutely do some more episodes talking about things like this. If you've got non-traditional things you did, ways that you broke the rules a little bit, ways that you kind of made your own traditions and made something your own, please send them my way. I would love to kind of revisit this topic again and talk about it a little bit more, give some other people some ideas, some ways that they can really make their day feel like theirs. I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So please send some ideas my way. But a little roundup for you to kind of bring this episode together after all my rambling: how to reinvent tradition and make your wedding day completely your own. Don't follow trends just because they're trending. Remember that they are a trend for a reason. Likewise, you don't have to follow traditions just because it's tradition or because your mum said so, okay? Your wedding, your choice. Choose which traditional elements of the wedding day you want to keep as they are, which ones you want to adjust and make your own and your own little spin on it, and which ones you want to get rid of completely. Any of which is fine. Legal elements not included. You have to make sure you're legally married if that's what you want to do. But anything else, get creative, get fun. Your wedding day can be whatever you want to make of it. Make it your own. I do hope that this one has been helpful, just kind of to get those ideas flowing and get some inspiration kind of floating around your mind there a little bit. A reminder for you as well that, as always, we are taking this chat over to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast Facebook group. That was a whole lot of words. And a reminder as well that, as always, we will be taking this chat over to the Your Wedding Unlimited Facebook group. So every week, whatever topic we've been talking about, we start a little chat over in the comments on our Facebook group. So if you're not joined it yet, come and join a little private Facebook group. Loads of lovely couples over there, loads of conversations. I'm over there. So if you've got any questions for me, you can come and ask those over there as well. The link will be in the show notes. As always, anything you need to find, ways to contact me, ways to follow, ways to get involved, ways to review, all of that is in the show notes. So other than that, I will be back next Wednesday with another episode 6. How exciting. Until then, I can't wait. Bye. I'll see you then. Thank you for listening to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired and excited to create your dream wedding day and those lasting memories. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'll be back next Wednesday with more tips, advice, and inspiration. In the meantime, don't be a stranger. Come and find me on Instagram and TikTok at Your Wedding Unlimited, where I share even more wedding ideas and behind-the-scenes insights. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube at Your Wedding Unlimited. And if you're looking for even more support, come and join my private Facebook group, Your Wedding Unlimited. It's an amazing community of fun and authentic engaged couples, packed with extra tips, advice, and insights to guide you along your journey. If you have any questions or need more info, you can DM me or send me an email at yourweddingunlimitedpodcast@gmail.com. All links and details will be in the show notes. Until next time, happy planning!